Shalom. Testing that you can hear and that you can see. Testing that you can hear and that you can see. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Shalom. Testing that you can hear and that you can see. Testing that you can hear and that you can see. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All praises to the Most High. For those of you who are tuned in right now, we had a little technical difficulty. Internet seemed to have an issue, so hopefully we're good to go now. So if you're in, go ahead and share. Go ahead and let your friends and family know what's up. You're going to give us a few seconds to get started, given those technical difficulties. All praises to the Most High. For those of you Giving a few minutes, getting back connected. For those of you who are logged in YouTube, please send the link to your friends through Messenger. Also, you can put it on your timeline. For those of you who tuned in on YouTube, hit that share button, Periscope, hit that share button to your Twitter friends and whatnot. That'd be very helpful. So today, as you might have saw in the thumbnail, we might have about two topics to discuss a little bit. We might talk a little bit, and we might talk a little bit about that. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the final part of Proverbs chapter 6, where we were going into these 7 abominations that the Lord hates. So we're gonna then touch a little bit on friendship and what it means to be a good friend and how to be a good friend. So we can get some people connected after that technical difficulty. We'll be back in the zone. We'll be back in the game. Looks like somebody's saying the sound or the volume is low. So I gotta tend to that now. Okay. Volume is low. Give me a second. Let me see what I can do. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, how are we now? Sounding better now? Oh, Amita says the volume is fine. All praises. All right, so, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to get it going. Don't let the devil steal your joy. For those of you who rocking with us, you know that the new moon celebration is tonight. So all praise to the Most High God. We're gonna keep pushing and keep getting ourselves in the spirit. But today, the message for today is about those those spirits that the Lord hates, those spirits that God is against. God has hatred for, because people think that God don't hate, but God does hate. God hates all of these different spirits. We're going to go to Proverbs chapter 6 to start it off. But before we do that, I just want to remind you, if you can hit that share button and get your friends and get your family on, your mama and your daddy should be paying attention. Your brother and your sister and your children should be paying attention. Don't forget your cousin. Don't forget your aunt. Don't forget your uncle. Because we all need this gospel to be preached. And even if you don't, believe certain things, whether it be that you have a little bit of a disagreement with some of the belief systems that I have, or whether, you're on the Christian side of things and you don't believe in your nationality matters, or whatever, that this Bible, also known as the good book, has some very good sayings that are very beneficial to your life. And if you just listen and if you just take heed, it may be beneficial to your life. And as you understand through your application of the Bible, your other understandings will then grow as well. So let's just take a ride. Let's just take a moment to get into Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16. All right, here we go. These 6 things that the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, we went over that. A lying tongue, as we did that as well. And hands that shed innocent blood. A heart that deviseth wicked imagination. Feet that be swift in running to mischief. A false witness that speaketh lies. And he that soweth discord among brethren. God hate all of that. Now, over the past weeks, it's 7 things. We're in the 7th week because each week we tackled a different one of them. Over the past 7 weeks, we've been going into the things that the Lord hate. And why is it that we went into this? It's because verse 15 says, therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. It's so that we can avoid calamity. It's so that we can avoid being broken without remedy. A lot of us fail to think about the fact that if God is real, get it? If God is real and his judgments are true, we would hate to have to receive them. So how much worse would it be that you knew better but didn't do better? Would you not be kicking yourself to find out that, oh man, all this time, the information that I had, I could have used to my benefit? That would be terrible. So what we do with scriptures like this, what we do with verses like this is say, you know what? I can apply this because it will make my life better. Now, a lot of people feel like, oh, well, I don't have to keep the law. Well, but do you not realize that even in keeping the law, there's benefit because it just, in many cases, is the right thing to do. It prevents you from receiving certain judgments, whether you believe those judgments came from the Most High or not. What am I going into? Like, give an example, perhaps. Thou shalt not steal. Well, you won't go to jail for that. Thou shalt not kill. You won't go to jail for that if you apply these things. So even if you don't believe in God, do you believe that the jail cell is not a place that you would like to be? It says, thou shalt not commit adultery. I know everybody out there wants to enjoy their lives and thinks that because they believe that it's okay to do it, that it is okay to do it. But do you not realize how beneficial it is to honor marriage? Because if you deal with it that way, you'll never deal with STDs. If you deal with it that way. But a lot of people, they're okay with burning in other places that they should not burn, right? So my encouragement to you is to say, you know what? Regardless of whether I like it or not, it's not the important part. The important part is it beneficial? And keeping God's laws is always beneficial because it keeps you out of situations that you can avoid if you don't want those to occur. I don't want diabetes. I don't want high blood pressure. So I deal with the dietary laws. I don't want, to get shot at running out of some woman's window because she married. So what do? I deal with God's laws, and that benefits me. Ever since I began to keep the commandments of the Most High, my life has changed for the better. And Well, it looks like Rosalind is also saying that her she's having issues with the sound. If you don't mind, hit the refresh button and let's come right back into it just to make sure it clears up. I'm gonna do a quick test on my end, just see how it sounds for me. Since I began to keep the commandments of the Lord, and I think y'all heard that in the background. That is me playing the video that you are listening to as well, the live feed. And in hearing that, I think we can agree that the sound is working fairly well. If you don't mind, hit the... There it is again. So if you're having an issue, please hit the refresh button and tune back in. Now, let's move on. But I gotta ask you, I gotta see if y'all about that share life, because I am about to share with my friends, okay? How I'm gonna do it here, I'm gonna share it public, and then I'll come back and share it in some other ways in a minute. Facebook always making changes, so you always can do something different than you could have done last week. So Proverbs chapter 6 verse 19 says, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. We're focusing on the sowing of discord among brethren. Some people really need to hear this because they don't realize where they're doing it. You may ask, how do you sow discord? One may feel that he or she has not sown discord in their life, but I'm here to tell you that many of us have sown discord whether we knew it or not. Many of us were sowing discord last week. Many of us were sowing discord last month, and it's time for us to recognize it and repent. Because God hates that. And would you like to be hated? Oh, well, you're so busy wanting to defend yourself and say that you're not doing it. Would you rather just hear how maybe it's possible that you are? Because let's just say you convince me that you're not breaking a commandment. Let's say that you convince me that you're not doing one of the things that God hates. But what if convincing me is not enough and you come to find out that God actually agreed with what I was saying? Well, it'd be better that you're safe than sorry. So let's sit back, take heed, and even if you think this is not something that involves you, think of it as it is. Okay? Okay. So Proverbs chapter 6, let's go up. Let's go up to verse 12. Now, be mindful that this chapter, this is a friendship chapter. Verse 1 says, of chapter 6, it says, my son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou hast snared with the words of my mouth, thou have taken the words of my mouth. So it starts out in the first two verses going into something about friends. So let's keep this in mind, because as we read chapter 6 and verse 12, we got to understand some of the context of this chapter. And if we read verse 19, it says, he that soweth discord among brethren. This is happening among brethren. Now, to be brethren, you don't necessarily have to be friends, but, you know, to be brotherly is to be friendly, right? In many cases, they have somewhat synonymous tones to it. So, back to verse 12, okay? A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a forward mouth. This type of person is being described here. This type of person is being described as a naughty person and a wicked person. Two words that none of us really want to be called. Okay, nobody wants to be called naughty. Nobody wants to be called wicked. However, this may be an attribute that you have. So you're going to have to step back and say, okay, let me read the verse in fullness. Let me not get so defensive. Let me not say this isn't talking about me. It says, a naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a forward mouth. Now, I want to define the word forward, because that's not a word that I personally use every day. That's not a word that if you called me that I would say, okay, I know exactly what you mean. I feel that I've heard the word enough because of my reading in the Bible that I have an understanding, but I think that if I defined it in this moment, that I actually would get a better understanding. So there's a site that I like to use that gives you the dictionary word, or the definition of a word and how it's actually used in the Bible. I know that you can go to any dictionary and it'll have 7 different definitions, some that don't relate to the other. But in this case, it gives you the definition that is meant in the place that is used in the Bible. So this is KJV dictionary. It's called av1611.com. So forward, it says turn or looking from. It says perverse, that is turning from, with aversion or reluctance, not willing to yield or comply with what is required. Unyielding, ungovernable, refractory, disobedient, peevish, as a froward child. They are a froward generation is the example that is used. Children in whom is no fair. Deuteronomy 32. Frowardness, perverseness, reluctance to yield or comply, disobedience, peevish. So with that in mind, we realize what type of mindset some people will have. Some people are going to be the type of people who will turn away from what God is saying. A froward mouth is a mouth that is opposing God. It says in the definition that it's perverse. It says that it's reluctant, aversion, is not willing to yield or comply with what's required. So that means you know what's required. A froward person, a person with a froward mouth, knows better but won't do better. They're unwilling to do better even though they know better. They're unwilling to comply. I've asked you to comply and you say no. So a naughty person, a wicked person, these are the people that go against God. So when you have a person who has a mindset to say, oh, well, my way is better than God's way, that's the kind of person who we're talking about here. So it says, verse 13, he winketh with his eyes. He speaketh with his feet. He teaches with his fingers. Forwardness is in his heart, like his heart being his mind. His mind is full of the opposite. It's full of aversion. It's full of reluctancy. It's full of unwillingness to yield to God's request and demand for us to keep God's commandments. These are the kind of people that, claim to be Christian all the time, who claim to be believers, because sometimes they're Israelites as well. Sometimes they're of any belief system, but they know that this thing called God must be real, but they're not willing to do the things that the Bible says about God. So now it says, he deviseth mischief continually. This type of person deviseth mischief continually. Because he's so against what God is telling him to do, he continues to devise. Let's define the word devise. It's to plan or invent, meaning you're planning mischief or inventing mischief. And if you understand what mischief is, once again, we're here in the KJV dictionary, it's harm or injury, damage, evil, whether it's intended or not, intentional injury, harm, damage done by design, ill consequence, evil, vexation, affair, and it gives a couple of examples. This type of person, they mean it because they're devising it. They're planning to do evil. They're planning to do something wrong. Oh, that's how they live their life. That's why it says continually. It's not a one-time thing. This is what they do. This is what they become known for. It says he soweth discord. So this type of person, a wicked, naughty person, a forward person, this is the type of person that sows discord. Notice we're using commas and semicolons here. And when we're talking about this person, he exhibits these characteristics, these attributes. And if you step back and look at it, you're like, okay, I can see that. Now that's what we got to do today. The examination is there. Can you see it? Because a lot of times we don't think of ourselves as the sower of discord, but when you sit back and look at how you got where you are, well, there was a plan to bring forth some type of mischief. Well, the thing is, forwardness was always in your heart. You're the type of person that opposes what God says. Now, let's step. Somebody, got to get with me for a second. You got to hear what I'm saying. In that forward mindset, you may come to God and say, Lord, Lord, haven't I prophesied in your name? Haven't I cast out devils in your name? Haven't I done all these marvelous works? Yes, but keep it real. We know, biblically speaking, everybody don't have the same mind toward righteousness that they're supposed to have, even though they may have on fringes, even though they may celebrate the Sabbath, even though they may profess to be an Israelite, they may still have evil in their heart. I see you, Zuli. I see you. Shalom. Even though they may consider themselves devout in their Christian walk, even though they may consider themselves these different things, you got to understand that we all have wickedness in us that we need to purge out. And your wickedness in particular may be that forwardness. It may be that the nature that is very divisive and very much likely to sow discord. That may be you. It says he winketh with his eyes. He speaketh with his feet. He teacheth with his fingers. Forwardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually. This type of person keeps getting into trouble. This type of person keeps doing things that seem to be in opposition to what God is asking. This is the kind of person that can't really deal well with having a brother around them, having a sister around them that is trying to help them and encourage them to do the right thing. This is the kind of person that is not willing to hear, because what the scriptures say? The scriptures say that a sinful man will not be reproved. This is the kind of person that won't be reproved. A naughty person, a wicked man, a person with that forward mouth. All right, so we're moving on, right? We're continuing on. We're reading through the chapter because we want context. We want to make sure that we pull it all together. It says verse 15. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. So because this person sows discord, because this person is continually in mischief, because this person has forwardness in his heart, calamity will come to this type of person. And suddenly he will be broken without remedy. Meaning it gets to a point where ain't no fixing this type of person. Ain't no more fixing this brother. You better use the opportunity of repentance while you have it. You better use the opportunity to figure out and fix the things that are wrong in your life that are keeping you from perfection while you have the chance. Because otherwise you end up in a category of being an abomination unto the Most High God, because this type of person is the person that has that proud look. This is the type of person that has that lying tongue. This is the type of person that shed innocent blood, meaning you're ending up messing up and ruining someone's life with the stuff that you do. And heart that devises a wicked imagination. You keep coming up with reasons why people are against you when they're really not. You keep coming up with reasons why you should do something that you really should not do. You keep devising these wicked imaginations, which is very similar to devising mischief continually. But a heart that devises wicked imagination, you always got these different thoughts in your head of what you can do, what new doctrine you can go into, and what new verse now tells you that you can do something that God said that you couldn't do, but now you found a loophole in a way. That's the type of person that we're dealing with here. Feet that be swift to running to mischief. Why the person that we're talking about here is a person that has a habit of turning their feet and going in the direction of the things that are harmful, that are hurtful. They can't stay out of trouble. They can't stay out of drama. They can't stay out of the smoke. A false witness that speak of lies, because then they become that type of person that there's an opportunity to be truthful, but they can't do it. They have to go and bend it to make them look good and someone else look bad. And he that soweth discord among brethren, this is the kind of person that will make people who are brotherly with one another not be brotherly because of the thing that you've done, the thing that you've said, the part that you played. So we examine this because we don't want to be hated. And as we look at it, even though it looks like 7 different spirits, in many cases, this is one. This is one person who carries all of these attributes because they're forward. Because they're the type of person that is considered naughty and wicked. Now, we examine ourselves. We say, ooh, is this me? Nah, it can't be me. I'm a good kind Christian. I'm a good kind law keeping Israelite. I'm a good kind whatever you think that you are, but you're not good and you're not kind. There's only one that is good, and that you know who that is. So that means we should examine ourselves and say, you know what? I always have something to do better at. Because each of us have had a moment where we looked a little proud, or we had bent the truth a little bit to where it looked like we were lying. I'm trying to make it softer for you because some of you were downright lying. You were just, you meant the lie. You weren't trying to be slick or nothing. You were just lying. And whichever person you are, just know that we can fix it. We can do better. And if we don't do better, then we get that judgment. So let's dig into this forward word then, if that's what it's about, right? If that's what we're finding out, is that forwardness is a problem and it's the cause of all these other things, let's dig into it. So let's go to Psalms 101 and verse 4. Psalms 101 and verse 4. I see Chosen Who Knows in the building. All praises. I'm glad you're here. Y'all all in the building. I see you. I see we got people on different platforms here. We got some on YouTube. We got some on Periscope. We got some on Facebook. If each of you could do me the favor and share this thing, get this to 10 of your friends right now, it would be beneficial and gracious. And if you understand how we get down here, you know that once you give them this, you got to give them all the previous weeks. Because we did 7 weeks of the 7 abominations, and we're here at the last one. We're at the final week. We're at the 7th week, and we're going to talk about it. So let me do my due diligence. Let me make sure that I'm not binding a burden on you that's heavier than I can do. Let me hit that share button myself. Here we go. Here we go. We got friends and we got family. I hit the share button a couple times. I'm not going to do this all night. I'm getting back to the verse. So Psalms 101 and verse 4 says this: a froward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. See, God is letting you know something here. God don't want to know the type of person that's froward. And so you want a relationship with Jesus, right? You want a closer relationship with God, right? Well, for those of you who are always saying that that's what you got, one of the first things that's going to be necessary for you to actually have that and to uphold that is the fact that you are not froward. The froward going to depart from him. The wicked person, God ain't going to know. So it says in verse 5, whoso privily slander his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will I not suffer. So understand this, that the forward person tends to try to be slick and privately talk about other people, which is his neighbor, the person that he's supposed to be brotherly to, the neighborly person. But instead they're whispering, instead they're saying things that they ought not say, mentioning things that they ought not mention. And in a sense, there's a reason that they're doing it, because they have an agenda and a goal to get that person that they're talking to feel the way that they feel about this person. It says, mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. Our goal should be to walk in a perfect way. It says, he that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. So the person who is doing things privately in their slander, the person who is forward, this person generally is working in deceit. You're trying to be slick. You're trying to... Do we need to define the word deceit? Because I know that we know this word, but we always want to look at these different words, and basically we got to understand this person's working in a false way. He's trying to be treacherous. He's trying to create a problem. But a lot of people don't even realize they're that type of person. A lot of people don't realize that they are problem creators. And so the goal of me telling you this is not to point at the finger and say you're a problem, but it's for you to sit back and say, you know what, I have caused problems in people's lives, and I need to do better. It says, I will early destroy all the wicked of the land. If that don't motivate you to do better, then what will? That I may cut off all wicked doers from the city of the Lord. This is what we got to consider. This is what we got to think about. I see you, Eleazar. You know, go to Proverbs 3:32. Because we already got what it said in 6, but we have to back it up because God keep repeating himself. He wants you to understand. He wants you to know. And since we are a hard-headed nation of people, since we don't really get the picture, we act like we don't understand. God keep trying to give us an opportunity by saying it again and again. It says, verse 32, Proverbs 3:32. For the forward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. See, the forward are abominable people, but all the good things that God has to offer, you know, all of that expounding of knowledge that really gets you in the spirit, it comes to the righteous. Now, you got to come to understand that if you're one of these people that is being discussed today, these wicked, these naughty people, a lot of the knowledge that you bring forth might not be of the Lord. It might not be a secret of the Lord. It might be a secret of the devil. It might be you leaning on your own understanding. And in order to fully get what you're supposed to get, you got to just be righteous, you know. It says, let me see if I want to go on. Now, let's go to Proverbs chapter 2. Let's go back a chapter and hit verse 12. Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 12. Fungus Face is in the building. Hey, that's a heck of a name right there. Proverbs chapter 2 verse 12. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things. See, God wants you to be delivered away from the evil man. You should want to be delivered away from the evil man. I don't want to be around the type of person that speaks forward things. See, a lot of people want to make it seem like, oh, I need to always be around you, even if you're wicked, even if you're doing me wrong. I should not depart from you. But God tell you, deliver them away from the evil man. It says, let's go up. Let's go up. Okay, let's go to, let's just go to 10. When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee. See, a person who has wisdom, you're going to be able to tell. A person who has knowledge and actually loves the knowledge that they're receiving, you're going to be able to tell because they're going to operate in a mode of discretion. A mode of discretion. What does it mean to be discreet? It means well, let's get some dictionary definitions. You know, let's not act like we know everything. Let's, you know, be willing to learn. Discretion. All right, discretion prudence or knowledge and prudence, that discernment which enables us to judge critically of what is correct and proper, united with caution, nice discernment and judgment, directed by circumspection and primarily regarding one's own conduct. Discretion shall preserve thee. Prudence shall preserve thee. Knowledge shall preserve thee. Ability to judge critically shall preserve thee. Doing what is correct and proper shall preserve thee. This is the kind of people that we want to be. Understanding shall keep thee. Why do we want that? Because this will deliver us from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things. We don't want to be in the midst of that, and the thing that keeps us out of it is being on the side of righteousness that we should be on. It says, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. That's the evil man. That's the froward man. They will leave the path of uprightness and walk in the ways of darkness. You turn your feet to mischief. Who rejoice to do evil. Like, you kind of like that thing. You kind of enjoy doing evil. And delight in the frowardness of the wicked. And when you see other people doing that wickedness, instead of it bothering you, you actually kind of like it. It draws you to people. Have you ever noticed the type of people that are always being drawn to other people who are known to have this type of personality? So everybody has already pointed this person out to be a froward person, to be a person who is full of discord, to be a person who is full of mischief, but somehow you're the one who's always defending that person. Somehow you're the one that's befriending that person. Somehow you're the one that's telling them, hey, people just don't understand you. I think you got a point. I think that maybe you're the righteous and they're the wicked. Well, maybe that means you're right on the path with them. Maybe, every beast loveth his like, right? So it says, whose ways are crooked. Whose ways are crooked? Like, as a brother, you don't want to be known as a crooked person. They forward in their paths, to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words. See, this type of person deals in flattery. They think that their words can make it all better, but man, their actions are really the strongest thing about it. Your gift of gab really ain't that great. Now, let's go. Let's go to chapter 17 and verse 20. I see you, Judah Maccabeus. I see you, Gabriel. I'm glad you're back tuned in. For any of y'all who are tuned back in, share the broadcast. We had a little internet issues earlier that knocked a good number of our people off. But, we can get them back. All you got to do is hit that share button. Share this in the groups that you're in. Share this on your friend's timeline, their wall. Share it on your what do you call it? Your story, if you will. Share. All right, here we go. We are back at Proverbs 17 and 20. It says, he that hath a froward heart findeth no good. See, the kind of person that their heart, their mind, right, is full of frowardness, they never seem to find good. They always seem to be the ones in the drama, always seem to be the ones in the mischief, always seem to be the ones that people have to say something to. And then they have to defend themselves and try to say, oh, it wasn't like that. You just don't understand me. Man, they holding me back. No, you're holding yourself back because you find no good because of what's within your heart. It says, and he that hath a perverse tongue, perverse. Remember, we read that word earlier, but do we need to define it? Because I gave you my definition. But, in case anybody doesn't like my interpretation, we got to go with what's been documented, what's been read over and over again, and everybody understands. See, you don't really get to make your own definition. So Merriam-Webster says, turn away from what's right or good, corrupt, improper, incorrect. That's what pervert. You have an incorrect mind. Now, I know somebody on here says, man, how you going to tell me what's right or wrong? Do what works best for you. No, I'm sorry. There is a right or wrong. Whether you like it or not is one thing, but there is a right and there is a wrong. And you may just so happen to like and enjoy wrong, but that don't make it right. So AV1611.com says, literally turned aside, hence distorted from the right, obstinate in the wrong, disposed to be contrary, stubborn, untractable, petulant, peevish, disposed to cross and vex. So keep those things in mind, right? Verse 20 again. He that hath a froward heart findeth no good, and he that hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief. He that belongeth to a fool, let me read that again. He that begetteth a fool doth it to his sorrow. Ooh. And the father of a fool have no joy. Let's talk about it. What we don't understand is there are some foolish people in this world. And when you join yourself with that foolish person, when you bring them into your circle, this is my friend, this is my spouse, this is my whatever, it becomes to your detriment. You begin to sorrow because the things that they do become problems in your life too. That's why it says, and the father of the fool have no joy. Why? Because now you're the one that's supposed to be responsible for that foolish person. And so that's why it's so imperative that we learn these things now so we can start raising our kids properly instead of having to erase all of the negative, bad stuff that you've allowed them to receive through their upbringing in America. Instead, you've given them nothing but good. So that person finds no good, right? You got to ask yourself, why are you never on the right side of things? Why does it seem that you're always the one in contention with things? Why is it that you're always causing the trouble, the strife, the drama? Why? Because there's frowardness within your heart. And if you examine that, if you can really acknowledge and accept what is within you, then you can correct it. See, the thing about repentance is it only works if you're willing to confess, then forsake. But you can't forsake anything before the confession. So many of you claim to be repenting. But not if you're never acknowledging your problems and your wrongs. You're not repenting. You're stuck where you are. So we move on, right? Because y'all got that. Y'all get it. Well, nah, we're going back to Proverbs 21 now in verse 8. The way of man is froward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right. See, that forwardness is a carnal mentality. It's the work of the flesh. It is how man get down. Not the spirit man, but the natural man. But if you are the spiritual being that you claim to be, then your works are going to be pure. Your works are going to be right. It says that it is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Why is it going in on the woman like this? Why is she a brawling woman? Because she's froward. She got these things in her heart to where she causes contention. Rather than being a problem solver, she's a problem creator. You know, a lot of people are always trying to say that one person is wrong and another person is right. But in many cases, both people have a part to play. But the thing is, we want to highlight one person's wrong and not acknowledge our own wrong. So let's just say in the moment, I'm saying, hey, wife, Mayshar, right? This is what you did wrong. Yeah, but you did this. Well, that may be true. But we're talking about what you're doing wrong right now. So what then happens is it escalates. I'm trying to tell you what you need to fix. And now you become contentious. You become a brawler, if you will. You want to fight about the situation. And the facts is there. The truth is there. You did do this. You are this type of person. But who wants to hear it? You know, I mentioned my wife's name because this is something that we all have to deal with within our household. A husband has to tell his wife something that she don't want to hear. And a wife has to tell a husband something that he don't want to hear. But what's the thing that makes it okay? What's the thing that helps the person who is being told something is if they will at least take it into consideration. But the person who's telling it has to understand that we got this nature, right? That we got this nature that is hard to receive things sometimes. So you got to try to work with that nature. You got to say, hey, reminder, I know you don't agree with me. I know you don't like what I'm saying. But it's all to your benefit. Remember, I'm here to help bring salvation to your soul. And at least consider. Because sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes we misjudge. Sometimes we see it wrong. But a lot of times we be defending ourselves so much that we were wrong, but we just didn't want to acknowledge it. We didn't want to admit it. So the way of the man is froward and strange, meaning the way of man, generally speaking, they want to be against what God is trying to say. They want to, be perverse. They know better, but just ain't going to do better. But if you really as righteous as you say you are, if you really as pure as you think you are, you know what you'll do? You'll consider so that you can acknowledge, so that you can forsake, so that you can repent. But that's why I say it's better to dwell in the corner of a housetop, because sometimes that contention with acknowledging someone's frowardness turns into a problem, to where you rather not deal with that problem. It says the soul of the wicked desireth evil. Wicked people, let's just be honest, you like wickedness, you like evil. And that is another thing that makes it very difficult to have conversations that are necessary. I see you, Ariel. Happy new moon. But you got to be willing to have that difficult conversation. It says the soul of the wicked desire evil. So how are you going to bring them good when they don't desire good? They desire evil. You got to work on their spirit. You got to sometimes force it out of them. Sometimes you got to really put forth the effort. But you also got to know when it's time to fold them. Know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right? His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. Now, I wanted to get there because we're talking about neighbor, we're talking about brother, we're talking about friends as well today. You know, a wicked person will be so wicked that they'll drive away the people who want to be neighborly to them, the people who want to be friendly to them. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. Why? Because the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. Like you want to be righteous and you're around the wicked, you got to make a decision. Because if I stick with you, I'm going to be wicked. So it says, when the scorner is punished, the simple made wise, and when the wise is instructed, he receiveth knowledge. You want to be the wise, then you'll get that knowledge. So the righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but God overthroweth the wicked with their wickedness. Whoso stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. So I just reading through because Proverbs is always giving you some good stuff. I recommend you read Proverbs daily and Sirach daily. Sirach a day will keep the sinner away, right? That's what I recommend you do. But I got to ask a question, because we just talked all about frowardness, but how does frowardness lead to discord? Happy new moon, Gabrielle. Thinking back to the definition of this type of person, we remember that they're not willing to comply. One thing that they won't comply is keeping the peace. Matthew chapter 5 verse 9 says, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. You know, I've gone over this with the wife. I've gone over this with brothers, sisters alike. And I say, you want the other person to be right so bad, but you won't be the one to help make peace. You want to tell somebody how they're wrong, but you're disrupting the peace. In the sense of you're causing the argument. You're causing the strife. Yes, that other person may be wrong, but what are you doing too? Are you wrong also? So it says that, and we have to understand that peace opposes the idea of discord. I'm going to say it again. Peace opposes the idea of discord. If you're really trying to bring forth peace, then it won't be discord. But if you're trying to bring forth discord, it won't be peace. So we need to examine the difference between these two words. So when we read discord in that same dictionary that we've been using, AV 1611, it says disagreement among persons or things. Between persons, difference of opinion, variance, opposition, contention, strife, any disagreement which produces angry passions, contests, disputes, litigations, or war. Discord may exist between families and parties and nations. Disagreement, want of order or a clashing. All discord, harmony not understood. So we read that. And I know that some people will feel like, when dealing with discord, maybe you're not the one who's bringing forth the discord because there's no peace there in the first place. But we have to understand peace to better understand discord. See, it's one thing to have a difference of opinion, but if we don't talk about it, we don't know. So right now, Ariel, you may think that Dr. Pepper is the best cola there is, and I may think that Coke is the best cola. But I don't know what you think. Now, your mother, your daughter, your wife knows what you think. And maybe they even know what I think. But you and I haven't hashed it out. So therefore, there's peace there still because we're not even arguing about it, even though we have a difference of opinion. But should someone come and start some discord and say, hey, Ariel think that Dr. Pepper's better, and he say Coke nasty, and that's how he feel about your product. He say you should throw those Cokes away. Oh, really? He said that? Let me go and let him know that I think Dr. Pepper is bad. Now we have discord. See, we didn't actually have discord just because we had a difference of opinion, but we had discord because those differences were now being brought forward in a way that would cause contention. Nobody cared. Nobody needed to know, but now we got to deal with it. It says variance, opposition, contention, strife. So we must look these words up. I find that there are people in this world that rather create their own definition of things, but I feel that it's hard for you to have a civil conversation when you got your own definition.
Someone is at the front door.
All right, so I know someone at the front door, but y'all don't worry about that. Y'all don't worry about that. I'm going to tell you now what the definition of contention is. In the same dictionary, if we can. Okay, we got contentious. Let's look up contentious. Okay. Contentions. Relating to contention in law, relating to litigation, having power to decide causes between contending parties as a court of contentious jurisdiction. Number one, I'll skip number one actually. Apt to contend, given to angry debate. See, the thing is, if you have a difference of opinion, that's one thing, but is it leading to angry debate? If it is, then you're going down the path of discord. So if I come to you and bring forth a debate between brothers and I cause it to be angry, I have caused discord. It says quarrelsome, perverse. They're going to word perverse again. We keep seeing that word. Let's go to strife. An exertion or contention for superiority, contest of emulation, either by intellectual or physical effort. Strife may be carried on between students or between mechanics. So in strife, you're going to have an exertion or a contention for superiority. You're trying to show that one is better than another. If you bring forth conversation that then has people arguing over who and what is better, who is right and who is wrong, you might be going down that line of bringing forth discord. It says any disagreement which produces angry passions. I know you thought that you was doing the right thing by bringing these two things up, but was it the right time? Was it the right place? Did you examine those things fully to consider how you may end up on the line of discord? If not, well, hopefully you got a brother or sister to hip you to the game, because God forbid you get to the judgment seat and he say, oh, you were sowing discord. And you're like, what you talking about, God? Sowing discord? I was just, letting the brother know. Letting the sister know. I was just, Yeah, but look what you caused. Look what drama ensued behind your method of delivery. Discord may exist between families. Take note that these things happen among people who are tight-knit. It says parties and nations. And that's the thing. As a nation of people, we end up in discord quite often because we end up causing passionate, angry conversations, strife, contention, opposition, variance between people. So the word we use, the things we speak, sometimes can be known as discord, and we don't even realize it. When we bring forth these things in accordance to the definition that we just spoke on. See, the opposition to strife, contention, any disagreement that's producing angry passion, that's how we want to deal. That's why I say it opposes peacemakers, because a peacemaker will be very tactful in their method of delivery and will know when to hold their peace, to know when to bring forth a matter, to know when to stay out of it because it ain't none of your business. They will know these different things. But a wicked, righteous, let me rephrase that, a wicked or unrighteous person, a naughty person, a perverse person, this person will not realize in some cases that they're doing it, but in many cases they do, because when we keep examining the word perverse, they knew better but didn't do better. All right, I want to read what Gabrielle said. She said, my mother always told me you get more honey from bees than vinegar. Dig that, can you dig it? Okay. Now, I've heard that statement before, and, you know, I've heard it in different contexts, different ways and reasons why it was brought up. But at the core of it, it's a true statement. If you do things in a nicer, more peaceful way, you're more than likely going to get better results. And not always. Some people, they are attracted to other things. Be mindful that flies are attracted to honey and crap. So you're going to get flies either way. But look at the type of flies that you're getting. So, you know, let's go to Proverbs 6:19 again. A false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. See, you know, this phrase in totality here, this verse, I should say, a false witness that speaketh lies, more than likely is going to be a brother who's lying on his other brother, which is causing another brother to be mad at him. That's why we go to Sirach 19. And verse 14. Admonish thy friend. It may be that he have not said it, and if he have, that he speak it not again. Admonish a friend, for many times it is slander, and believe not every tale. See that? Sometimes your friend didn't do what was said of him. Somebody's hating. Somebody's trying to get you and your friend separated. So therefore, that becomes the discord moment. That's why you notice when we read in Proverbs 6:19, it's really a lot of the same spirit within a person. But it's giving you all these different attributes and details within it, so it may come off as if it's different. But nah, it's really a lot of times the same thing is happening at the same time. And so many of us got to understand that. Like when you brought forth that account and you gave that false testimony, look what the aftermath of it was. When you lied, when someone provoked you to lie, whatever the reason was, whether it was wickedness within you or someone else and you fell for it, look at the aftermath. Brothers then lost friendships. Brothers then lost partnerships, and sisters, right? Then lost the ability to be cordial with one another based on the lie that you might have told. That was discord. And you might have not meant to be bringing forth discord, but you did. And now you have to dig deep and realize within yourself how you got there. Why you were the brother that brought forth discord. Why you were the sister that brought forth discord. I see you, Earth J12. Man, I see y'all on YouTube. Y'all should say shalom. Hey, everybody say shalom to each and every one of your brothers and sisters. Like I say, about to celebrate this new moon tonight. It's about to go down in a major way. So all praises to the Most High God for that. Let's get back to the verses, though. Because a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. We find that dealing with discord, there's a point in which angry passions get produced, right? Dispute takes place, and now obviously people have difference of opinions and thoughts that they would hold within themselves. But if you're the one forcing the difference of opinion out, and you're causing the angry passion to come forth, you the brother that sowed discord, you the sister that sowed discord. You got to really think of the confrontation of things. And if you really got to be the brother to make confrontation, just know that discord comes with it. Know that strife came with it. And I had to examine that within myself sometimes, because there's a lot of times where I want to say something to somebody about something that they've done to me or they've done to someone else. But I examine the time. I say, is it the time for it? Because if the situation has passed for far too long, what am I going to do and bring it up again? And now remind and revisit this thing that people are past already, and now we're back in a heated debate and argument and drama. I got to examine myself and say, do I have to? Is it necessary? If it's necessary, cool, but some people just like to be in some stuff. So that's when you begin to deal with discord. It's when you're not willing to examine the matter and see. Like right now, we about to go into the new moon. If something come up, I'm going to do my best not to have to deal with it during a time when we should be joyful. When you think about what happened with Abigail and Nabal, and she waited until after her husband was no longer, married at his party, that prevented a situation. Now, God dealt with the situation, but imagine what could have what could have happened. Maybe she wouldn't have looked so righteous as she ended up looking after the fact. Just want to put that out there as food for thought. So, let's go to Sirach 28 and 12. If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. If thou spit upon it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of thy mouth. Okay. Let's go to verse 11. Maybe we'll get a better understanding of this if we go up a verse. I see you. I see you. I see you, Shemaiah Nicodemus. If thou blow the spark. Let's go to verse 11, I said. And hasty contention kindleth a fire. When you create hasty contention, you rush to contend with a matter. It brings forth fire. And a hasty fighting sheddeth blood. And then it can escalate to way more than that. If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. If you add fuel to the fire, what you think is going to happen is going to become a bigger fire. But if you spit upon it, if you find a way to quench the fire, so you got to be tactful in the things you do, it shall be quenched. But both of these are your choice right here. Both of these come out of that mouth. You could do one or the other. Let's go to verse 1, man. Let's get this chapter. Let's get this context. Let's get it. Because this thing is going to be helpful in us understanding discord. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance. Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he have done unto thee, so shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest. See, we got to have that mindset. As a neighborly person, you forgive him the hurt that he did to you. And though you didn't like it, though it hurt, your goal isn't to get even. Your goal isn't to get your vengeance. Your goal is to make sure that you take this opportunity and use it to your advantage, which is you forgive him, God will forgive you. One man beareth hatred against another. Don't get yourself to a point of hatred. And guess what? The hatred generally comes out once you then go into this matter of discord. Once you get to the point of having this angry dispute. You were good until you got angry and somebody pissed you off. It says, one man beareth hatred against another, and doth he seek pardon from the Lord? You got hatred for another brother, but now you want to be forgiven. Come on now, get yourself together, because it's not going to happen like that. He showeth no mercy to a man which is like himself. And doth he ask forgiveness of his own sins? If he that is but flesh nourisheth hatred, who will entreat for pardon of his sins? See, some people, y'all nourishing the hatred. You're feeding the hatred. But you didn't examine yourself for that. You wonder why it got where it got, but did you examine yourself and say, you know what? Yeah, I fed it. I fed into it. Remember thy end and let enmity cease. Remember corruption and death and abide in the commandments. Remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Remember the covenant of the highest and wink at ignorance. See, that's the thing. Oh my gosh, you got to hear this. You got to wink in ignorance, because sometimes the disagreement and the thing that is between me and you, it may not be enough to even get into. I may just wink at it like, no big deal. It's an ignorant thing. Abstain from strife. You got to avoid strife. You don't want to have strife. So what do? Sometimes you're willing to let things go instead of, I just got to say something. I just got to deal with it. I just got to speak my peace, speak my truth. You're going to hear my mouth, right? And thou shalt diminish sins. If you abstain from strife, you will diminish sins. But for the brother and sister that always ended up in strife, you're multiplying sins. For a furious man will kindle fire. The type of person that goes and stirs it up, they got a furiousness within themselves that they haven't examined and acknowledged. A sinful man disquieteth friends. Oh. You know, the type of men that bring forth strife is something we got to examine. What type of man is furious? This means he's lost control of his emotion and he's overrun by his anger. And that's why he's getting into too much trouble. You know, let me look up disquieted. You know, y'all gonna get this dictionary today. Disquiet. Unquiet, restless, uneasy. Want of quiet, uneasiness, restlessness, want of tranquility. To disturb, to deprive of peace, rest or tranquility. To make uneasy, restless, to harass the body, to fret or vex the mind. Ooh, that's good right there. To fret or vex the mind. When it's the ED, it's made uneasy and restless, disturbed, harassed. Okay, some of us, we're disquieters. We're the type of people who create disquietedness. We disquiet people. Oh, whatever, you can't be using all these words, right? It says a sinful man disquieted friends, meaning they disrupt the peace. They disturb the peace. They create a restlessness and an uneasiness. They remove the tranquility. They bring forth anxiety to the situation. That's what a sinful man does. So what people would have been cool and could have stayed cool, the thing that this person brought forth changed that. And it says, and make it debate among them that are at peace. You know, if you're not war, you're at peace. If you're not in the action of it. You may not like it. You may not like the person. See, like right now, if you think about physical war in America that we lived in, right? We're at peace. No, I'd be lying if I said that. Let's be honest. America's never been at peace. So let's go back to the biblical example. You know, with David, after he went to war, Solomon was at peace. But don't you think that there were people who were sitting back thinking and waiting for their chance and opportunity? They wasn't always in the same mind of, I love this person. Oh, hell. They were never in that mind. But they were not warring in the moment. So what I want you to see is, just because you have a difference of opinion don't mean that you're not at peace. Let's get peace. In general sense, peace, a state of quiet or tranquility, meaning it's quiet. It doesn't mean that you're in agreement. It means you're quiet. Freedom from disturbance is not going down. Or agitation is not agitated. Applicable to society, to individuals, or to temper of the mind. Freedom from war. Freedom from internal commotion. Freedom from private quarrels. Freedom from agitation and disturbance. All of that good stuff. You know, the thing about peace is it makes you peaceable. Let's get the word peaceable. The definition says free from war, tumult, or public commotion. We live in a peaceable time. See, the commotion is not there. The tumult is not there. Doesn't mean that it's all lovey-dovey though. So let's read on. Let's get off of that for a minute. As the matter of the fire is, so it burneth. And a man's strength is, so is his wrath. And according to his riches, his anger riseth. And the stronger they are with contend, the more they will be inflamed. And hasty contention kindleth fire. And in hasty fighting sheddeth blood. If thou blow the spark, it shall burn. If thou spit upon it, it shall be quenched. And both these come out of their mouth. Curse the whisperer and the double-tongued. The person who's trying to, let me tell you what happened. Let me whisper it in your ear. The double-tongued. Y'all know who these people are, right? You've examined these things. But these things are going into the friends who are now being disquieted. Because you want to be neighborly, you want to be brotherly. You don't want to disquiet friends and create the debate. You want to keep them at peace. Verse 12 says, if thou blow the spark, it shall burn, but if you spit upon it, it shall be quenched. It's telling you to avoid the contention. Verse 13, curse the whisperer and the double tongue, for such have destroyed many that were at peace. You know, a lot of times, the things that you bring forth in whispering, meaning what? That you are speaking with suspicion. You're plotting secretly. You're devising mischief. You're going to create problems. The person who's backbiting, meaning the person who's slandering, speaking evil of a person who is not there, who's absent, who's trying to secretly speak about somebody, you're causing a problem. But we got to examine ourselves, right? That's what we got to do. A backbiting tongue have disquieted many and driven them from nation to nation. You done ruined nations. Strong cities have it pulled down. You've ruined cities and overthrown houses of great men. You've ruined houses. You know, the words that come out of your mouth can definitely do that thing. A backbiting tongue have cast out virtuous women. You can ruin marriages and deprive them of their labors. Whoso hearken unto it shall never find rest and never dwell quietly. There's so much more that we can read here, but we're not going to read it all. We got to really think about these things. We really got to examine ourselves, because it's so easy to sow discord. It's so easy, and instead of saying, nah, that's not me, what you should say is, I might have did that. And whether I can pinpoint if I did or not, I'm going to take heed to that and really try to make sure I apply that. Make sure I bring forth that in my thoughts. Because the benefit of these scriptures is what? If you really ingrain them into your mind, one day when an opportunity comes for you to be the discord sower, you'll say, nah, that's discord. You'll recognize it before it happens and you won't do it. That's what the power of these scriptures are. And see, if you're trying to really be a friend to somebody, Proverbs 18:22, let's go to 24. A man that have friends must show himself friendly. The friendly thing to do is to think, dang, I don't want to cause an argument between the people. I don't want to start a heated debate among the people, because I don't want to be in a heated debate. Me personally, I don't like to be in a heated argument with somebody. I'm cool with a good disagreement and debate on, stating my cause. But if it's going to become a problem where we're fighting, I don't want that. So I want to make sure that I prevent that from my friend. And so a friendly thing for me to do would be treat my neighbors, I love myself. Love my neighbors, I love myself. And think about what I would want. It says a man that have friends must show himself friendly. So if you want to have friends, do the friendly thing. And there's a friend that stick closer to a brother. If you want to actually get close with somebody, do that friendly thing. See, the reason why some of us can't get close with people is because we're terrible people ourselves. We're not friendly. We do things to others that we wouldn't want done to ourselves. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 4:9. See, it's actually valuable to have a friend. It's good to have a friend because it says two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one lift up his fellow. See, if you actually can get your mind wrapped around a friend. See, right now we're going into the part about a friend, right? Being a good friend. A good friend lifts up his brother in a time of need. See, your real friend is going to tell you when you're wrong. Your real friend is going to tell you when you need to change and fix something. The bad friend is the one that's going to say, yeah, that brother did you dirty. Yeah, that brother, yeah, he is like that. I can see that. The real friend is going to say, hey, man, instead of talking about that brother to me, why don't you go to him and work it out? And why don't you let that just be water under the bridge? Because it really ain't that big of a deal. You making a mountain out of a molehill. That's what a real friend would do, is say, but woe to him that is alone. Woe unto you, brother or sister, that don't have someone that's going to tell you when you're sowing discord. When you're doing one of these things that God hates. Don't you want to be told that so you can have an opportunity of salvation? Don't you want that so you can get the kingdom? Oh, no, you don't want that? I see you, Roe. It says, but woe unto him that is alone when he falleth, for he have no another to help him up. See, I want to be the type of brother that's going to help you up. And I want that type of brother around me. Now, if I fail to do it, be a brother and tell me that I'm failing to do it. Because if you tell me to be a better friend, then I need to work on that, and you the same. And we get together and we work these things out, and we become better and better and better over time. And instead of saying I'm not fooling with a brother, you actually can create a friend. Again, if two lie together, they have heat, but how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. See, there's benefit and value to coming together as brothers, as opposed to being discord and being separated and disquieted. Avoid that. Figure out how to come together and bring forth unity. Because two shall withstand him, but a threefold cord is not easily broken. So now you got more friends in the building. And that's all praises to the Most High. Let's go to Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpening iron. See, that's what it's about, having a friend. You got somebody to sharpen you. So the man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. See, this midweek meditations, hopefully I'm sharpening somebody. And the people who are diligent and here all the time and are loyal to the cause, I pray that you're allowing me to sharpen you. And that's why I like the feedback. That's why I like to converse with you. It's so that you can sharpen me up. Because maybe I didn't think of something that you did. Let's go to John 15 and 12. New moon, man. It's time to get down. I hope y'all ready. I think I'm going to pop champagne tonight. What y'all think? Honor of the Lord. Verse 12. John chapter 15, verse 12. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. See, if you're a real friend, you're going to learn from Christ to learn your brother and love your sister the same way that he loved them. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. See, how many of you actually have a friend that you'll lay your life down for? Well, if you don't, you need to work toward it, because that's a great love that no man have anything better than. So you work towards that. You fix your problems with your relationship. You get that in a friend. You do that because that's valuable. That's if you believe like that, though. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 11. Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. As we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord, and admonish you. You got to know who's your fellow laborers. Who's the ones that have to watch over you, and who's the ones that's building you up and admonishing you and give you the opportunity to fix yourself. And to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace among yourselves. Amongst brethren there should be peace. And, that's what really keeps the friendship. The anger and the contention is what breaks it apart. But in order to really keep that peace, what do you have to do? You have to exhort your brethren. Now we exhort you, brethren. Warn them that are unruly. You got to get rid of the unruly brothers. Comfort the feeble-minded. You got to build up those who are weak. Support the weak and be patient toward all men. You have to have patience. See that none render evil for evil unto any man. Instead of you getting even with me, how about you just tell me that I was wrong and hold me to being a better person, as opposed to you getting just as wrong and just as dirty as me. But ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and unto all men. This is the message that I want to leave you with, because I want you to think about this. If we're going to celebrate this new moon tonight, if we're going to go into the Sabbath this week, and we're going to make it better, how do we do that? By considering that if you want to be a friend, if you want to have friends, you got to be friendly. And in order to be friendly, if you avoid the things that God hates, you avoid the things that other people hate. Because a lot of times, the thing that makes you the outcast is the fact that you're doing things that put you out there like that. So many people are always trying to justify themselves and make themselves right. But maybe, just maybe, if you listen to what the people are saying, even if they're not 100% correct, you can still learn something and become a better person by it. Because a lot of times people don't be just making up stuff. They're speaking on it from their perception, and sometimes their perception is skewed. Sometimes their perception is somewhat incorrect. But there was some truth behind what they said, more than likely. So if you can just be open-minded to considering that maybe you're the wicked, maybe you're the naughty, maybe you're the discord sower, maybe you're the one that just quieting friends, then you can actually stop doing that. But if you keep saying that ain't me, then you can't stop it. So that's it for today. Today we talked about the 7th of the 7 abominations. The Lord hates he that soweth discord among brethren. But we talked about all 7 of those abominations that the Lord hates throughout the previous week. So please go back and review the other ones. Please share all of them. Share a series of these with your friends. Get all 7 on your timeline, so that all of them can be put together and thought about. Even though it seemed like they were different, they're actually all the same spirit. But if you put it all together, you got a very good toolkit to work on your spirit. And you can keep yourself from being hated by the Most High God. It's a powerful place to be. We also just touched a little bit about, being a better friend. Being a better friend is something that we all can do better at. None of us, I tell you, are without, without the ability to improve. The biggest room in here is the room for improvement. So with that, I want to say shalom. Happy new moon. I'm going to let you go because I got to go and get right and get with the people, celebrate this new moon. With that, I say shalom. Oh, wait, real quick. Shout out to those who have been supporting. You can donate by going to midweekmeditations.com/donations. You can do whatever you can. Shout out to those who have been donating their time as well. I don't know if y'all been noticing, but the daily verses have been popping back up. We're about to get back in full effect and share those out again. And the Bible trivia again. I hope y'all are excited because it's time for that again. So what day is the new moon? New moon is starting this evening at sundown. We're going to celebrate that here. We're going by the full moon here as the scriptures let us know that the moon is bright when it's new. If you think about when creation was, there was a greater light and a lesser night, and that was the first moon. It was new. So it only makes sense that be the new moon. So we're celebrating that tonight. I know there are a lot of people who have difference of belief of the new moon being when it's dark, and the new moon being when it's a slither past the dark, and various things. And I'm not here to argue with you about it. I'm not here to create contention. I'm here to give you an opportunity to learn whatever I know and see if you agree with it or not. If you don't, may the Lord be with you, and hopefully he'll bless the new moon that you're keeping. But at the end of the day, we're supposed to be keeping the Sabbath. We're supposed to be keeping the new moons. We're supposed to be keeping all the different feast days like Hanukkah, like Passover, like Feast of Dedication, like Day of Simon, Memorial Blowing of the Trumpets, the Day of Atonement. Supposed to be keeping all these days, and get rid of Christmas, man. Get rid of Valentine's Day. Quit doing what the nations tell you to do and making them your God. Actually do what God told you to do. And if you're a real believer of Christ, you'll recognize that Christ did these things, and you should be doing it too if you're a follower of Christ, right? So I pray that you got something out of it. Go to midweekmeditations.com again to donate, as well as to catch up on all the previous meditations. And like I said, we're about to get back on this Bible trivia, so be looking out for these posts that be going up. All right, with that, I say shalom.